Welcome to IT Maths. We'll be looking at how to change fractions to decimals. So we have here 7,837 divided by 6. How do you do that? There are 5 steps to do that. The first step is division. After division, you multiply. After multiplication, you subtract. After that, you compare, and then you bring down. Now, how do you do that? I do this, I call it a house, and then I put my 6 outside, and then I write my numerator inside. Let's look at that as someone carrying something on his head, and then he puts it inside his house. So the numerator goes inside, the denominator stays outside. So we begin division. We take it digit by digit till we exhaust all these numbers, all these digits here. So 7 divided by 6 is what? 1. Next step is multiplication. 1 times 6 is 6. Next step is subtraction. We subtract these 2 numbers. 7 minus 6 is 1. Next thing is compare. Is 1 smaller than 6? Yes, this answer here must always be smaller than the denominator we had here. So it is smaller, so we are in order. Now the next thing is to bring down. What are we bringing down? The very next digit. So that's 18. We bring down 8, and that makes that number 18. And then we start all over again. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Next step, 3 times 6 is 18. Next step, subtraction. We subtract. As a matter of fact, when you have 2 numbers, you subtract. So that's 0, 0. Okay, so 18 minus 18 is 0. Compare, of course, is smaller. And then the next step is bring down. So we bring down the next digit, 3. And then we start the process again. 3 divided by 6 is not possible. Okay, we cannot share 3 by 6 in this method. So when you can't do that, what do? You say, I couldn't do it, 0. You must place your 0 there, and then you continue. 0 times 6 is 0. So you subtract as the next step, and then that gives us 3. Compare is smaller, and then you bring down the next digit, which is 7, and that gives you 37. 37 divided by 6 is 6. 6 times 6, the next step is 36. Next step says subtract. We subtract, and that gives us 1. Compare is smaller, and there is nothing to bring down. See, now I have a problem. I'm not done. I'm supposed to have 0 here to be done. When there's nothing to bring down, you have 0 here, then you are done. This would have been my answer, but I still have a number that is not 0 there, so I am not done. So how do I handle that? Is there something to bring down here? Yes, in a way. If I put a decimal point here, I will have 0 here to bring down. Remember, if I say 2, 2 means 2.000000000. The 0 goes on. So 7,837 is actually 7,837.0000. So because I've put a 0.0 there, so my points reflects here, and then I bring down the 0 here, and then I have 10. 10 divided by 6 is 1. 1 times 6. Next step, subtract. I have 4. Now the next step, I compare is smaller than 6. I'm in order, and then I bring down. What am I bringing down? There is still a 0 here. I bring down a 0 there, and then that gives me 40. Now 40 divided by 6 is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. I subtract, and then I have a 4 again. And once I notice that I'm having the 4 again, I'm suspecting I'm going to have a recurring fraction, because whatever happened here is going to happen again. So I bring down a 0 again. I'm able to bring down these zeros because of this decimal point here. So that becomes 40 again. So 40 divided by 6 is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. Do you see that? And then you subtract, still gonna have another 4 again, which is still going to make this a recurring decimal, it continues, it's going to continue, so that's a recurring decimal. So I can write my answer is now 1306.166. I could turn the other one to 767, around it up like that. Or some people will put a point here to show you that this 6 continues, a dot here to show that this 6 continues, and it's a recurring decimal. Now let's look at something smaller, 1/8. How do you change that to decimals? So the numerator stays inside, the denominator stays outside. Don't mix them up, please. So we begin with division, the first step. That is 1 divided by 8, the same way it was written here, 1 divided by 8. What's the answer? You can't do that. The answer is 0. It can be done, but for you to proceed, you add a 0 here and then you fix a decimal point here. Please, that's the rule of thumb. Add a 0 here, place a 0 here, and place a decimal point here. So this number is now 10. You can now do 10 divided by 8, can't you? Now 10 divided by 8 is 1. You write the answer here, 1. You're done with step 1. The next step is multiplication. What are you multiplying? Whatever answer you had with the 8 here. So I'll place a small multiplication sign there to always remember. So 1 times 8 is what? 8. So that's my 8. The next step is subtraction. 10 minus 8 is 2. So the next thing is compare. That answer I have, is it smaller than 8? Yes, it is smaller than 8, so I am in order. It must always be smaller than 8. If you have a number that is bigger than the denominator, you have made a mistake. So go back and check your division again. So it is smaller, so we can proceed. The next thing is to bring down the next number. So I bring down 0. So now the next thing is to start all over. We've gotten to the end. You repeat this entire process again. So 20 divided by 8, that's step 1. 20 divided by 8 is, what is that? 2. Next step, multiplication. 2 times 8 is what? 16. Next step is subtraction. You subtract these two numbers. 20 minus 16 is 4. The next thing is compare. You compare, is 4 smaller than 8? Yes, it is. It has to be smaller than 8. So it is smaller and we are in order. Next thing is to bring down a 0. And then we start the process again. It starts simple. 40 divided by 8 is what? 5. 5 times 8 is what? 40. Wow. It looks like we've gotten to the end. This is now subtraction, and this is going to be a 0, and this is going to be a 0. And then it means we've gotten to the end. When once you have a 0 and nothing to bring down, that is the end of this math, and the answer becomes 0.125. That is the answer to 1/8. Let's look at 3/7. What do you do? Who goes inside the house? Who stays outside? Of course, this is a person putting his luggage inside the house. So it starts. 3 divided by 7. What is the answer to 3 divided? You can't do that. So you put a decimal point and a 0, and then you add a 0 over here. Remember, whenever you try to divide something you can't, you must put a 0. You can't do it means it's a 0. Okay, it didn't go a 0. So we have a 0 there, and then to proceed we must put this 0 here and the decimal points here. So 30 divided by 7. How many 7 do I have inside 30? If you do your 7 times 7, 7 1, 7 7 2 14, 7 3 21, 7 4 28, 7 5 35. You find out you have 4 of them. We won't be doing that. We'll just be saying the answers. Go and watch our video on how to divide, and then you know how to divide numbers very easily using your multiplication table. So we have 4. Now 4 times 7 is 28. The next step is subtraction. We subtract, and then we have 2. Bring down 0. We have a 0 there. We add a 0 there. 20 divided by 7 is 2, just 2. The next one would have been 3, 21, but this is not up to 21. Now 2 times 7, we're in the second step, is 14. We are here, subtraction. We subtract 20 minus 14 is 6. So now we compare, is 6 smaller than 7? Yes, it is. So we are in order. We bring down 0 again. We have 60. 60 divided by 7, that is 8. So 8 times 7 is 56. And then when we subtract that, we have 4. We bring down a 0 again to continue. Remember, 4 is smaller than 7, so we are in order. And then we bring down a 0. So we continue again, start the whole process again. 40 divided by 7, we have, that's going to be 5. 5 times 7 is 35. Subtract, and then we have 5. Then start the whole process. We compare, is smaller than 5, add a 0 and start the whole process again. 50 divided by 7, that is 7, 49. 7 times 7 is 49. Subtract, and then we have 1. Is smaller than 7. Bring down 0. We start the process again. 10 divided by 7 is 1. 1 times 7 is 7. We subtract, we have 3. Now we add a 0. I would like you to take note. This 30 is this 30. We are going to run this process again. Because when once you say 30 divided by 7, you are going to have 4. And then you are going to start again. 4 times 7, you are going to have 28. And then this is going to repeat. So if I continue, I'm going to have 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, 1 again. So this is an example of a recurring decimal or a repeating decimal. Notice how this fraction just ended here. But this one is not ending, it's still continuing. This is a recurring fraction, and this is an example of a terminating fraction. Now I want you to note something. Fractions that when simplified to their lowest terms have just 2 and or 5 as prime factors as their denominators result in terminating decimals. While fractions that when simplified to their lowest terms have prime numbers other than 2 and or 5 as prime factors as their denominator result in recurring decimals. The denominator contains 2 or 5 as prime factors. That decimal is going to lead to a terminating decimal. But if it does not contain 2 and 5, and it contains other prime numbers, they are going to lead to recurring decimals like this. If it has 7, if it has 11, if it has 13, and it doesn't have these guys, they are going to lead to recurring decimals. For example, 4 over 5 has 5 inside it. Look at it here. So it's going to lead to a terminating decimal. Try that out and you'll see. But if I give you something like 1 over 3, this is neither 2 and is not 5 either. So it's going to lead to a recurring decimal. It's not going to end. Those that have 2 or 5 in it, like this one, 8 means 2 times 2 times 2. There is a 2 there. So it's going to lead to a terminating decimal. See you in our next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.